What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for The Real Housewives of Dallas Season 4, Episode 8. Yep, Episode 8. Ooh, we have 8 episodes already? Anyway. So we start this episode off with the burial and funeral for baby Bunny, or Bunny, Playboy Bunny. Anyway, Brandy and them Bunny died, and they had a funeral for a child. Y'all know Brandy special. Anyway. But they had a whole funeral, honey, and everybody humored Brandy. They came dressed in black, and they humored her. Anyway, it was cute. It was what it was. Y'all know how people are with their pets, honey. Then we see Leanne and Rich getting ready for their couple's shower. It's Cam and Cord are hosting it, and come to find out that it's a very intimate event, and at the last minute, Brandy, her husband, Stephanie and her husband are not going to be able to make it because both of them have engagements with their kids. Now, the reality of the situation is they RSVP'd months ago. Either they forgot, they didn't realize it, whatever. But neither here nor there, they're not going to be able to make it. So while they're having this conversation at the repast, I guess, over at Leanne's house, Cameron's telling Leanne basically that Leanne's dog has a cyst on his eye or something like that. Again, pets. But on the other side of town, so Cameron's explaining to Leanne that they're not coming now. And of course they're making it out to be this big conspiracy theory that Brandy's not coming, and now that Brandy's not coming, Stephanie's not going to come, and when one cancels, the other one canceled, and it's just not proper etiquette, and it's just going to throw everything off. Of course she didn't invite Deandra, and she didn't invite the other Carrie, the new Carrie. They didn't invite her either because she said, and it makes sense why she didn't invite her. She said, look, me and my fiance have never hung out with her husband, and my fiance has never met either one of them. So, yeah, it makes sense that they wouldn't be invited. Like, I'm not mad that Leanne didn't invite her. I'll get upset later, but I'm not mad now. But I am mad that Cam is making this out to be, a corporal offense because they decided they weren't coming. At the end of the day, this is Leanne's third event for this wedding. That doesn't include the wedding. Okay, we ain't got to the wedding yet. This is her third event for the wedding. And Brandy and Stephanie were at both events, including Stephanie hosting one, meaning Stephanie paid for it, okay? Hosting is a pretty word for paid for. So, you're mad because Stephanie's not coming when she actually paid for one of your events already. And Brandy has been at the other two. Now, Leanne was like, well, they didn't call me. Okay. They did call the person who is hosting. They called the person that they had to RSVP to. Should they have hit Leanne with a little bit of I'm so sorry we're not going to be able to make it? Yeah, probably. But once again, it is not a corporal offense. They notified the person that was taking care of the money side of it so that they could make the arrangements for those 4 empty seats. Like they did, and maybe it was late notice. But I just feel like when you're having 4 and 5 events for the same thing, if somebody misses 1 or 2, like I just don't think you should be mad about it, especially since you ain't even decided if you're going to invite Brandy to the damn wedding yet. Like, really? Anyway, so that's how that went down. Honey, now we're going to deal with Deandra and her mom and this money in this company. Let me tell you something. Both of these women have fault. And let me explain why I say that. So, let me deal with the mama. First of all, you know that you handed Deandra that company and it was damn near bankrupt. You know what you did. You squeezed everything you could squeeze out of that company, and then you gave it to Deandra when there wasn't nothing left and said, you figure it out. You have used the purse strings to control Deandra her whole life. You're upset with Deandra because Deandra didn't marry Rich. And she said that to Deandra. She told Deandra, well, I took care of myself because I married a man with money. And Deandra was like, yes, and I didn't. I know. So you feel like Deandra made her bed, now she got to lie in it. She ain't marry a man with money, so she got to deal with being broke. You have justified in your mind that you didn't do anything wrong. One, because Deandra begged for the company. Two, because you feel like you set her up somehow, like you prepared her, for the real world or whatever. You gave her the opportunity and she made bad decisions. I'm gonna get to Deandra in a minute. And you just, at this point, have washed your hands of it and like, she grown, she can figure it out. Now, on the other hand, Deandra, you have allowed your mother to control you with money your whole life. There is no way in hell that you should be 50 years old and your house is in your mother's name. 50 years old. And you said that you can't sell your house and you can't borrow against your house because the house is in your mother's name. And what kind of man? Like, your husband, I understand he doesn't make a lot of money, but your husband is cool with that too? Now, you said that you said you've taken a pay cut from the company and you get a $5,000 a month stipend from your trust. And then you said, well, I can't live off of $60,000 a month. Sweetheart, dear, darling, there are a lot of people in this world that live off of $60,000 a year. Now, that $60,000 is what you get from the trust. That doesn't add what regardless of whether you took a pay cut or not, even if you took a pay cut and you're only making $30,000 off of the company per year, that's $90,000. Then your husband, I know he doesn't make a lot of money, but he's got to make at least $30,000, $40,000 a year. So now, you guys are over $100,000. Y'all can't live off that. Then you really do need to reevaluate your spending, because your mama said you don't know how to budget. Now, so I fault her for that. And as far as this whole trust situation, see, Deandra, I would have sued my mama a long time ago to get my trust. You are 50 years old. When you supposed to get it? I ain't rich. We don't have trust in my family. I don't know how trust works. And I'm sure that you can write a trust to make it say whatever it is you want it to say. So maybe that trust is only for your retirement and you cannot touch it until you 65. Like, I don't know. But you are 50 years old and you still can't get your trust? That don't make no sense. You might need to go get a lawyer and sue your mama for that, because it doesn't make sense. And she's using it to hang over your head. Now, your mother did say something that I've heard many businessmen say. You should never use your own money. You should be able to go and get a loan. At least enough of a loan to float you for the next 6 months or whatever, so that you can make payroll and so you can get some products on the market and do what you need to do. Now, again, I'm no businesswoman. That's not my thing. But it seems to me like with all the connections y'all have in Dallas and all the people that y'all know, you should be able to get a loan from somebody somewhere. But I think both of y'all hold fault in this, and it's ridiculous. And your mother she was like, she doesn't feel guilty about leaving you with that mess. And I just think it's ridiculous. I think it is so ridiculous, but whatever, child. And now I'm with Travis. Just let the business go. Let it go. Sell what you can sell, salvage what you can salvage, and then take that money and reinvest it somewhere else or start another business. Honey, I'd be so done with that thing. Then we go over to Stephanie and her husband, and they are celebrating Travis, and they're celebrating their anniversary, and it was so cute. Travis, I got her he had a Hermes box, and so she thought she was getting herself a Hermes bag, honey. She opened up that box, and all inside the box was a bunch of stuff. He said, "This is all the stuff you steal from me." So he bought her like an iPhone charger. He bought her like some razors, a toothbrush, which I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care what y'all swap, what type of fluid y'all swap in the middle of the night. I think that is the nastiest thing in the world, is to use somebody else's toothbrush for any reason. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, honey, it was cute. And then he gave her $1,000 in cash. I think it was a cute little gift. Of course, I mean, she liked it, but she hated it all at the same time. Like, she was like, okay, this is like creative and cute, but I really wanted that Hermes bag. Okay. Cam and Court, they're going out to lunch, and they're basically talking about the couple's brunch, and they had 20 different parties for their wedding too, honey. They had a party for the party to get ready for the party. Good Lord, these people make up reasons to spend money. And she's talking to him about, you know, how Brandy and them backed out at the last minute and so blah blah. And she was saying how, you know, she wasn't high maintenance until she met him. You know, she was an outdoors girl and a camp girl until she met him, and then he turned her into bougie Barbie. I don't know how much I believe that, but okay. Just because you showed me a picture of you in front of a tent does not mean that you were out every weekend getting your wilderness life on, okay? I don't know how much of that I believe. Let me see. We get a little bit more, also, and I missed this part, we get a little bit more insight on Travis and his dad. His dad is over in Thailand, and what it sounds like is that his dad basically does whatever he wants to do. He has a condo in Thailand, and he goes over to Thailand, stops taking his medicine, gets really sick, has to go into the hospital. Travis has to fly to Thailand, get him well, for him to come back to America to finish recovering, and as soon as he's feeling better, he gets on the plane and he goes back to Thailand. Here's the problem. His father has some health issues. The other problem is his father, once he goes to Thailand, stops taking his medicine. And again, what can you do? He's a grown man. All you could do is keep telling him that he's making bad decisions and just be there for him when he, you know, needs it. And Travis is like, yeah, he's in Thailand. I haven't talked to him. I'm just waiting to get the phone call so I can get on the plane and go over there and get him out the hospital. Like, that's just what they do. And that's a lot. That could be very stressful, that you just basically waiting to get a phone call about your dad being sick. So now we're getting ready for the couple's shower. And it is beautiful. Cam has done a great job. The decorations are beautiful. And her mother-in-law helped her out. Now look, I try not to talk about people's looks and stuff like that, but did her mother-in-law look like she might have overdid it with the plastic surgery a little bit? Y'all tell me in them comments. Did y'all notice that she had like that tuck, that like her smile was like, I don't know. Y'all tell me, honey. But it was beautiful. It looked like it was very nicely decorated. It was beautiful. She had another quartet that was really a trio that she paid quartet prices for. She ain't that dumb, honey. Cam ain't that dumb. She know what she doing. She's doing that Jessica Simpson where, you know, she acting like she don't know that they really showed up as a trio and she paid for a quartet. Child, I ain't buying that. And of course, everybody shows up and it's nice and everybody has a good time. Now, in the midst of all of that, Cam is being messy. Cam got invited to go to a girls' night to have drinks with the other Carrie later on that night. She asked now, the old Carrie and Leanne, did they get the invitation? And of course, they didn't get the invitation. Now, I don't know why the old Carrie didn't get the invitation, because I thought the old Carrie and the new Carrie were friends, but okay. But we know why Leanne didn't get the invitation, honey. Because Leanne and the new Carrie are not hitting it off. They're just not getting along. Every time they get together, it's like this. And also, if it were me, I probably wouldn't have invited Leanne either, because I would be thinking that Leanne was tired. You had your shower earlier in the day. You probably want to go home, open your gifts with Rich, or just relax. I might not have invited her either. Not because I had beef with her, but just because I figure you spent all day, you had a shower earlier today, you might not be up to it. Like, that's, anyway. So they decide that, so Leanne says, well, I'm going with you when you go. Where's the information? I'm going. And the old Carrie tells her, Leanne, that might not be your best move. That looks a little desperate. Like, we're not that pressed to be their friends. Like, it's not that serious. And they end up talking her into going, honey. And Cam was like, well, I know it's not etiquette, but I really want to go and talk to them about this, because I think it was disrespectful for them not to invite Leanne. So over to the girls, to the happy hour, we have Leanne, we have Stephanie, we have Brandy, and Deandra. Now look, Deandra ain't been invited to nothing, okay? And they're sitting there trying to figure out who's invited to what. They got text messages. I ain't never seen nobody get invited to no wedding through no text message. Not this type of a wedding. There are all types of weddings. You have casual weddings. You have last minute weddings. You got justice of the peace weddings. You have destination weddings. You got all of that. But this is supposed to be like a social event type wedding. This is supposed to be like the country club circuit. Ain't nobody sending out no text message invitation to a wedding when it's that type of a wedding. Like, come on, Leanne. That's tacky. That's tacky. And like Brandy said, Brandy was like, I'm waiting to get a formal invitation. Like, I'm not responding to a text message, invite me to your wedding. And Deandra was like, yeah, that's a bit tacky. So they're sitting there, they're talking, and they're having a good little time, and they look up, and guess who's coming around the corner? Cam, Leanne, and the old Carrie. So they get there, and honey, they get to arguing. Cam is coming for Stephanie and coming for Brandy about how disrespectful it was that they didn't show up, and they had RSVP'd, and they didn't even reach out to Leanne. And why didn't they talk to Leanne? Leanne is talking to the new Carrie about why didn't she invite her? Her feelings were hurt. I invited you to my shower, and I invited you to this, and I'm hurt that you wouldn't invite me to this. And the one thing I'm loving about the new Carrie is she's real straight with no chaser. She was like, look, me and you don't get along. We don't seem to be, so I didn't want to invite you because we're just not getting along right now. And Leanne was like, well, how are we ever going to get along if we are never around each other? If we never spend any time together, how are we going to learn to get along? How are we going to become friends? And, Carrie was like, yeah, all right, but this wasn't the time that I wanted to do that. Like, this wasn't the time or the place that I was trying to have that, deal with that situation. And Deandra just sitting back with her drink looking at everything like, okay, you argue, okay, now you are, okay, Because, of course, Deandra ain't had no dog in none of them fights because, like I said, she wasn't invited to nothing. And for once, she ain't do nothing wrong. And so, Cam is talking to Stephanie, and she done gone back to Stephanie calling her a surface friend, and my feelings were hurt. And Stephanie was like, I thought we had moved on. Like, I apologize. You accepted. I thought we moved on. Now, here's my issue about that. I cannot stand when people do that. If you're going to accept my apology, you accept my apology and leave it alone. But Cam, aren't you the same one that last week you were still throwing shade to Stephanie? Now, all of a sudden, Stephanie is supposed to, be like, well, I thought we were friends, and what you did, that came off as, kind of shady. Then she gonna tell Stephanie you playing the victim. Stephanie was like, I'm not playing the victim. And Cam talking about something. You told me you had an Easter pageant, but your son is dressed up as a cobra. There were no cobras in an Easter pageant. Stephanie was like, I told you my son had a pageant at school. I never said what kind of pageant it was, and he was a cobra. That is what he was. Like, it is what it is. Y'all know how school pageants are. They just make up reasons. And nowadays, unless he goes to a Christian school, nowadays they might not be able to have a Easter pageant because you got to separate church and state. I know we can't have Christmas parties anymore. They have to be Halloween. Halloween. I'm thinking about Halloween. They have to be holiday parties, right? So maybe they can't have a Easter pageant. Maybe they have to just have a spring pageant. And if you're having a spring pageant, then you can have a cobra. Because when do you have a cobra? I don't know. So, they were getting into that. And Stephanie was like, look, I don't have any reason to lie. Like, so now you basically telling me I'm a liar. You telling me I made it up and I lied on my kids. And she was like, well, I know when my kids are doing everything. And Stephanie was like, you probably more organized than me. I didn't remember. And I could definitely see that. I could see that Cam is probably the person that writes out the calendar for the whole year for her kids. Every event that's going to happen at that school, she probably has it on a calendar. She also probably has 2 nannies. Okay? Stephanie was like, look, I forgot. And I think her daughter had her first cheerleading competition or something like that. So, of course, she's not going to miss that. So, it was a lot. And my thing is, how dare you question... I have no reason to lie. I'm not going to make something up. And How dare you question me as a parent? Because, of course, my kids are going to always be my decision. It doesn't matter. I don't give a damn what my kids are doing. I'm going to be there for it. And I'm going to always choose them over going to your third party for your wedding. Like, stop it. So, anyway, honey, that is pretty much where we ended up at the argument. Stephanie was like, look, let's just move on. Like, let's just move on from here. And, honey, and that's what we doing with that. So, anyway, that's how it ended. I believe that's how it ended, honey. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.